Good afternoon. I'm David Wendell with BushcraftOnFire, and I'd like to welcome you to another video that we're going to work on with making fire. Now, last time we demonstrated how to make a fire tinder can, and you can get that video up on YouTube. Today I want to talk more about how to make different things that you can find around your home. You know, it's great if you're out in the bush and you can find tinder. That's wonderful. But there's sometimes when it's just cold, when it's wet, when all the wood that you have is hard to light, and you need that little extra bit of help. And so today I want to show you a couple things that we can do in order to make tinder from natural things that are in your home. The first thing that we have, many of you carry this in your Ekit, would be toilet paper or tissues. These are actually tissues. And the tissue, of course, will light very quickly. It will burn effectively in order to get your fire going. You can see we take a lighter or a match, just light this, and it lights very quickly. It's not going to go for an incredibly long time, but it may be the extra little bit of time that you need in order to get that fire going when you're out in the bush. So a tissue is a very good thing to have. Another thing that many people carry in their e-kits is an absorbent pad. Perhaps in your part of your e-kit you have medical supplies, you have first aid kit, and this will catch fire very quickly. It's made of cotton, and what I generally would do is to just open it up a little bit to expose that cotton and fluff the cotton up a little bit. I use out in the bush what's called a Gerber Strike Force. The Gerber Strike Force is a ferro rod, ferroconium, and this is a big ferro rod. This is about 2 inches long by well over 1/4 of an inch in diameter, and it strikes very easily, it strikes very quickly. It also has a little compartment that I can keep a little bit of extra tinder in. I put some steel wool in here, which we'll get to in just a moment. So you just take that ferro rod, it's got a built-in striker, just hit that cotton and it goes up in flame, and you have a really good way to be able to start a fire quickly. Again, these things aren't going to last you for hours, but they are going to give you enough time to catch wood that may just be a little dry. If you made a feather stick, which we'll show you in another video, then this would give a good way to get that feather stick caught and to get it burning before everything goes out with just a single match. So that's another good thing that you may have in your e-kit, and it's just an absorbent cotton pad, gauze, anything like that that you would carry in your first aid kit. And the bag works well too. The bag will catch fire quick, and you could use that as a second fire, so you actually have 2 or 3 fires that you could get out of that kit. Another thing that a lot of people have with them is paper or notebooks. Maybe you have a Write in the Rain, which is waxed paper. These again will light very quickly and give you that little bit of extra time that you may need in your kit. Now, you remember yesterday that we made the candle into a tinder can. This candle I took out will serve me for many, many more different types of homemade tinder. What I can do is to melt this. I can either do it by lighting a fire on the wick and dripping it onto, for example, a piece of cotton, which I'm going to do in just a minute, or I can melt it in a double boiler on my stove, and when I melt this wax down I can pour it over cotton. One really good thing to do is to take a toilet paper roll. Stuff the toilet paper roll with cotton balls. Now, when you go to get cotton balls, make sure that you get 100% cotton. There are things out there that aren't 100% cotton, they will not work. So whatever you get, make sure that when you get home, you test it out, strike it with a ferro rod, see that it works. But you can put these cotton balls into a toilet paper roll. You can pack them down until the whole roll is filled and tight with cotton, and then take your wax out of your double boiler and pour over here until it is totally filled up with the wax. Once that you do that, you'll take the toilet paper roll out and cut it into little pieces. This is a piece that I cut out, has a roll on it. What I can do is just light the corner of this with my lighter. This will burn for a long time. This will probably burn 15-20 minutes at least. It's just cotton impregnated with wax. Once I get that lit off that little corner, then it's going to burn and it's going to continue. So you have a lot of time to build your fire even in wet weather. These don't weigh very much, about a ½ ounce to an ounce a piece, depending on how thin you cut them. And it is reusable. You can put this out, use it again. So you might get 5 or 10 fires out of this. Now I mentioned the cotton ball itself. Even without wax, cotton balls will take a spark from a striker. Cotton balls, I have not been able to take a spark with flint and steel. However, if you use a little bit of steel wool, which we'll talk about in a minute, then you can catch the cotton ball even with flint and steel, because the flint and steel will catch a piece of quadruple aught, 4-0 steel wool. Now the cotton ball, you can see very quickly, will light up. You may or may not be able to see that flame. It burns very hot. It'll burn quickly. But there's a couple things that we can do in order to make that a little bit more efficient out in the field. Some of you might carry lip balm, moisture therapy, or you might carry chapstick. You may have a little bit of Vaseline. And what you can do is to take your Vaseline and to pour on your cotton ball. What you basically do is open your cotton ball up, take a little bit of this out here, just mash it around in there. Some people carry it this way in the bush. I think it's better to carry the tube of Vaseline with me and to carry the cotton balls. That way I don't have a mess in my Ekit. So once that I light this, you'll notice that this will burn a lot longer, because that Vaseline will actually impregnate the cotton, and it will keep that fire going 2, 3, 4 times as long as the regular cotton ball. So